Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another quick pick prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the bantamweight bout between Cory Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw. So this is an interesting matchup because both of these guys are former training partners, and from all of what have I heard and through the grapevine or even little subtle mentions of both guys about training partners and situations and basically talking about each other or not talking about each other, it sounds like Cory Sandhagen got the better of TJ Dillashaw more often than not. And that frustrated TJ Dillashaw, which led Cory Sandhagen to move to another gym. And yeah, TJ Dillashaw doesn't like anyone to have a brighter light than him. That's why, what happened with the Holdsworth situation and whatnot and other situations and whatnot. But we're not going to go there. And yeah, that's not the prediction of this fight, but it's part of it, I guess. So, how I see this right here is Sandhagen is 6 years younger. He's 5 inches taller. And he has a 3-inch reach advantage. So he has the youth, the height, the reach, and I feel like he has the speed. And I feel like technically on the feet, he's the more technical striker, better footwork. I feel like he has really all the advantages on the feet. And could really, if this was a striking match, would make quick work of TJ Dillashaw, especially if TJ Dillashaw has not made improvements in his time away. It's not a case of TJ Dillashaw having to be as good as he was when he was on his PEDs or his energy drugs, or was it EPO or IPO or something like that. Yeah, EPO, like when he was on EPO. And if he comes in like that, he'll beat Sandhagen. It's not a case like that. The division has got a lot better since his absence. It hasn't, not a case of that. The people he fought have gotten worse. His division has gotten better, I feel, more so than anything. I mean, his fighters, everybody does get older, but I feel like it's more so a case of the division getting better and not a case of them, it's all about them getting older. But yeah, the division has got a lot better since his absence in a very short amount of time. He's only been absent for a year and 7 months, which is a lot of time, but consider like for a whole division to get that much better, you expect like 5 years, not a year and 7 months or a year like that. And yeah, but a lot of improvements in a very short amount of time for the division, but a decent amount of absence for Dillashaw. But again, advantages are in Sandhagen's side, but I will give Dillashaw does have a huge advantage in wrestling and a huge advantage in grappling, submission grappling. Do I think he will be able to apply it as best as he can? I do not think that. I feel like his takedown average is his takedown average is like less than 2 takedowns a fight. And I think the most takedowns he scored in a UFC fight was like 3. And I think he did that once or twice, so. And it was many years ago. Well, actually it was against Lineker. I think he got 5 against Lineker. Yeah, so 5 was his max, but on average like 2 or less. Like 1.89 or something. So not the most active with his takedowns, and really most of his takedowns came early in his career, in the UFC career, against lesser tier competition that really aren't much of note today. And weren't much of note back then either. But either way, I don't feel like he's going to go be as aggressive with his takedowns as he needs to be. Not as aggressive with his grappling, but if he does that, I feel like that's a good avenue. But also might be a good avenue for him to run into a flying knee. But yeah, as far as this fight, I feel like Dillashaw does have best avenue is to grappling, to be able to mix it up, be a mixed martial artist, mix it up, find those openings, score takedown, and work from the grappling aspect. But Cory Sandhagen has only really been exploited once or twice as far as grappling inside the UFC. And for the most part has held up with some pretty good grapplers. He grappled with a Sun Sal, got a good reversal on him in that fight. And after he had more control time, Sun Sal had 2-3 takedowns, or not 4 takedowns, but I think like in total with like a minute or 2 minutes of control time. And really most of that was like in the final round, but without much done with it. It was almost like a neutral position. But for the most part, it's not like Sandhagen has bad grappling at all. So I feel like he'll be able to address Dillashaw's grappling, but I feel like that's Dillashaw's best path to victory. He got to be aggressive. It's not be a case of he just going to fall into a submission or fall into a takedown and fall into a mount. He's really got to work for it. He's really got to be consistent with that. And I don't think he's going to be as consistent with that as he needs to be. And I feel like having the ego that he is, he's probably going to delude himself to believe that he's the better striker. He's going to delude himself to believe that, instead of feel like he don't need to do these things. He could beat him here or he could beat him there without using his full tools, where I feel like he has to use all of it he has in his tank, all that he has in his toolbox, and blend them together very well to win a full, well-rounded, fleshed-out game plan. But I feel like he'll come in there, he'll be predictable, he's going to try to strike. But yeah, it was interrupted for a brief second there, but I would see this as that I don't think he's going to be aggressive enough with the grappling, which I feel like is his best path to victory. He's going to mix a couple in there, but when it's not finding, the initial success he wants out of it, or not to the degree he wants of success. And also, you got to factor he's getting 35, it's like a limit. Unless you're on drugs or like TRT or something, or you just that dude. Most people around 35, their wrestling cardio starts to drop off significantly, and they only got 2 or 3 good takedowns in them, or 3 good takedown attempts in them, and then they just go back to striking. So he's kind of reaching the age where his wrestling cardio is going to start to dip off, especially without his EPO. So that's another thing to factor. Maybe it's not going to be a case of him just not implementing it. It's like he just not going to have it. But he trains high altitude, and I'm expecting him to have the same good cardio. I just feel like he's not going to be aggressive enough with that grappling. It's going to turn into a striking matchup, and he's going to get knocked out, I feel like it'll be a good filling out process in there. But Dillashaw, like, very slick striker, but I feel like he has his patterns, and those patterns are going to be his downfall the same way they were against Cejudo. A lot of stuff, like a little step to the side, jab, overhand. And like a lot of stuff is just, you can see it coming. Like, it'd be quick and smooth, but he had like these gears, and you know what's going to happen on these gears. Or when you start leaning this way, the kick about to come over here. Like, you just know what's coming. Like, it'd be slick, but you know what's coming. And it's not going to be a case like Cory Sandhagen is going to be a shorter fighter running into him and getting these takedowns, scored him. Dillashaw going to have to press him to score these takedowns. It's not a case of, because Sandhagen has the height, he has the reach. So it's not like a Lineker fight where Lineker is short and trying to come on the inside. So the takedowns are there. You got to really work for these takedowns. And so it's going to be, like I said, not going to be doing it enough with the takedown. Not be aggressive, not consistent enough. And then be on the end of that striking. And Dillashaw, like I said, Cory Sandhagen has trained with, so I'm pretty sure he's even more familiar with his patterns. And I'm pretty sure Dillashaw's familiar with some of the patterns of Sandhagen the same way. But you don't have to train with Dillashaw to see his patterns. His patterns, like, are there. They're just out there. But I feel like it's going to be a case of Sandhagen is, like I said, I feel like Sandhagen's going to use that reach to be able to outbox him, outwork him on the feet. When he starts to duck his head and try to come with the overhands, I see him timing flying knees to the body and to the head. And, just taking advantage of landing clean counters, keeping him outside, outboxing him, outworking him. And then eventually putting away a withered Dillashaw in the third round. So in this fight, I have Cory Sandhagen via third round TKO.